Fred Leonard.
Hi, everybody.
Good.
First of all, I just want to make a quick comment. I'm a little irritated that you're so eager to get this public input beyond you. I think this is important. People have taken time to come here to address you, and I think you take all the damn time it takes, frankly. The idea that you want to move this along is really irritating to me. So I'd like you to keep that in mind and just don't say things like that. I want to address, number one, the Sustainable Communities Initiative. And really this kind of insular atmosphere you believe you belong into, because it is an advisory board only. That's not really true. Not with this program, it will not be. They will go above and beyond you. They will try to infiltrate. They will try to get you to change your ordinances, the city ordinances. They will go to the state departments, DES, DOT, and whatnot. They'll go to legislators. A lot of them are legislators. They'll file legislation. They'll change the rules. They'll change the laws. They'll force this town to do what it wants you to do. Okay, so the whole notion of this being just an advisory circumstances is nonsense, and you all know that. We'll get into a lot of trouble. There's people here spending an awful lot of time trying to develop the economy in this city. I may or may not like the method. Regardless, you folks are putting a lot of time, energy, and money into it, and they may have a hand in that. And you got to ask yourself, how will you feel about that? They'll come down and tell you what you can and cannot do with the land in our own city, and I don't think that's what we want ultimately. And I know that's what a lot of people on this council don't want. We want to be able to determine our own destiny. It's been mentioned more than once that, the issue with the Great Bay Estuary and the cost that we're going to incur, and it's going to be one degree or another, whether it's 3 parts per million or 8 parts or whatever, ultimately we end up having to adhere to. And then ultimately, as you all know, too, it only addresses 30% of the problem, because the larger part of the problem, nobody's willing to really admit that they can't get their arms around it. None of the education programs that are driven from the state or county or federal level seem to be effective in dealing with homeowners along the estuary. So we're going to end up bearing a large degree of the cost that has the least amount of effect. And I can go on and on about what I know about the estuary, because I've taken quite a bit of time of learning about it, having taken trips on it and talked to scientists and farmers and whatnot. But clearly I'm opposed to the city agreeing to signing on to the SCI, because it's just not the right thing for our community, or for the state for that matter, and frankly for the entire country. We need to be able to self-determine how we want to grow, as people, as businesses, and as a community, and this initiative isn't going to help us do that. The other thing I wanted to address was obviously the spending of the money on the president's visit. Obviously, it's a wonderful thing if a sitting president wants to come to your city, but I don't agree with the reasons he came here that I've heard spoken by some people on this council and people interviewed in newspapers and whatnot. They only came here to get votes. Let's be honest. Are we a thriving community? Well, that's debatable. We're certainly a little better off than we were a few years ago. I would argue that we are heading in the right direction. It's very slow. You've heard people talk about their neighbors, and there's still a lot of people struggling. So we're not gangbusters. We're not a boomtown. The federal government can't take credit for, frankly, any of it. If anything, you folks can take credit for all of it, I suppose. Safran being an example, again, not one of the methods I necessarily agree with, but clearly it can't be a bad thing if you're bringing jobs when you have a family, have a job, and you need one. So from that perspective, I understand. But he came here for votes, and primarily because this is his kind of town. I consider Boston title town. I consider Rochester entitlement time. Because that's what we are, and we know we are. We get a lot of federal money. We get CBDG money, we get, we were considered highly for the NSP money and all this other stuff that we get, the education money that we get from the federal government, from the state and whatnot. It's because we're a poor town. And frankly, Obama helped build this town. So yeah, he did build something. But this truly is his kind of place, because he hopes that those people will vote for him so they can continue to get their entitlements. So I was opposed to it. Romney, by the way, if you do a little research on the internet, when he's billed, he pays. So I think we build the Obama campaign, and if they don't pay, let the public know in fairness. And if Romney comes here, we bill him, and likely he'll pay. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
GrokTV.